I wrote an article about the taxonomic breakdown that's happening at the U.S. Census, and essentially what's happening is that they've got those categories for people where you have to check whether you're white or you're black, and then there's like all this breakdown of that. And what it's rooted in is it's rooted in an idea of race that's rooted in biology instead of seeing and recognizing and talking about race as a concept that was invented in the 18th or 19th century that started attaching color of skin to biology, compared to ancient Greeks who used to talk about where geography as a determination of character and personality. So what mattered was if your land was dry or wet, and whether you lived in the hills or the coasts. And so in researching for this article, I spoke to this academic out of Oklahoma, Chicano, and he said to me that he thought Latinos were suffering from post-traumatic colonial disorder. And not just Latinos, but also, the entire Americas, the U.S. as well. But about Latinos, what he was saying was that, so what you have is generation upon generation upon generation of, being told that you are a tenth of this, a tenth black and 9/10, European, and there's all of this value that's derived from how European you are or how Europeanized you are. And so we walk around sort of beating on each other. There was also, the physical abuse that occurred throughout Latin America and throughout the Americas. But it was this sense that as a result of that colonization occurred all of these diseases that have popped up, and that include things like, and what you see is sort of an enhanced version of that in Latinos today when you think about the kinds of illnesses that we suffer from at disproportionate rates, such as diabetes and heart disease and obesity. And so that all of this stuff is linked, so that what happened 300 years ago, when these first Spanish and European explorers arrived on the shores of Latin America, that this discrete American Latino population you're talking about, that this new community that's sort of that's arisen in the U.S., that we too are still suffering from that, and that and even the scourge of drug abuse around the country would be an example of that. And again, that goes beyond ethnicity, obviously, but that's all tied into this sort of umbrella of post-colonial trauma.